When is the right time to start seeking infertility treatment? So for me, I first thought that something was wrong in 2015. I had been married for about a year at this point and partially thought that it may be something to do with my now ex-husband, but didn't really know what the cause was of the fertility. So I made an appointment with, I think it was my primary care physician, and just kind of was going over some symptoms and things like that. And she thought I might have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So she did some blood work and put me on metformin. And during that time, I had a friend that I went to high school with that was blogging about her infertility journey. And I do remember her sharing about being on metformin and some of the medications she was taking. I reached out to her and asked her, like, hey, what did you do for trying to get, started on the infertility journey? And she told me about her doctor that she was going to, which is Dr. Brundren. Dr. Brundren is no longer practicing. He's retired, but I was able to get an appointment there, and he was able to diagnose me officially with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So that's a combination of blood work, but it's also an ultrasound. They go in, look at your ovaries. I don't remember what all was done there, but got diagnosed with PCOS, and I started taking metformin. Now, if you get put on metformin, I do want to share my experience with metformin. So this is typically something that people that are like pre-diabetic, diabetic could possibly take. And I don't know exactly what it does, but it messes with your insulin. And so for me, being insulin resistant is why I was put on metformin. So the first time that I took metformin, I took it at night before I go to bed because that's what my doctor recommended. And I just remember taking the metformin and about, 20 minutes later, feeling like I had pop rocks inside my entire body. And I just felt like everything was just pop rocks going through my muscles and through my skin. It was a terrible feeling. And my friend had recommended to me, whenever you take it, you're probably going to feel like your sugar is dropping. So drink a Coke or have an orange juice as soon as you take it. So I don't normally do any sugar or any caffeine at night. And so I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. And I think during this time I may have even worked night shift. So I was all kinds of sleep weird cycles anyway. So I took a Dr. Pepper or something like that, had a drink of that, and went to sleep and slept 12 hours. I just remember feeling really terrible that first day that I got put on metformin. So if you have PCOS, if you get put on metformin, just be prepared. Now I'm very used to it. I have been on it for 10 years now. No issues with the metformin. But the metformin itself was not a cure for my infertility and helping me get pregnant, because still 10 years later on this journey. So got diagnosed with PCOS with Dr. Brundren. And during this time, it was now 2016, I got laid off from my job, so I didn't have my insurance anymore. I'm also going through a divorce. And I also got into grad school. So put the infertility journey on a pause while searching for a new job, going to grad school, all of that. Plus now I'm unmarried. So come 2020 during the pandemic, I have a new job, I'm finished with my master's, and just having a little bit of a hard time mental health wise during the pandemic. And I did get put on a medication that you are not supposed to take if you are thinking of becoming pregnant. So the next step that I had to do in my infertility whenever I was ready was to get off of that medication. So I got off of medication. I was on it for a full year at a high dosage. And then the second year I was coming down off of the medication. And then I was completely off of it by January of 2023. So in February of 2023, that's when we started trying to conceive and officially started trying to, basically I had to start over with being re-diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. I had to find I had a new OBGYN at this time because Dr. Brundren had retired. I found a new OB and I went to her. I think this was like my third time to go to her. And I had said that I wanted like a fertility specialist, but she wasn't really doing fertility stuff, but she did recommend me to a fertility clinic here in Tulsa. So I went to that fertility clinic, and they told me that because my anti-Mullern hormone was low, that they would not be able to do IVF. They would not be able to do an egg retrieval. But if I wanted to try to get pregnant using my own eggs, that we could do timed intercourse and we could do IUI. Now, I wish at that time I would have said, thanks for the information. I'm going to go get a second opinion. But instead we decided, let's go through with the timed intercourse and the IUI. That you're doing the shots in your belly and you're doing the trigger shot to try and make you ovulate. But at this point, like, I didn't have any diet changes. I wasn't taking any supplements. Like, they didn't really give me the guidance that I now have today on things that I could have done for egg quality. So their direction was, you're born with a limited amount of eggs, which is true. You're born with all the eggs that you're going to have. You don't make more eggs. And that there was nothing I could really do to improve the quality. So during that time, I wasn't making any changes to my diet to try to improve my chances of having better egg quality. We were just, doing what the doctor said, which was basically injections. And then you have your spreadsheet of when you do your shots, when you do your injections, and when you engage in activities. So anyway, that was from basically May of 2023 to September of 2023. And then I was told that the only option was going to be getting an egg donor. So started looking into egg donors and decided, hey, let's get a second opinion. And so that's where, CNY comes into play.